welcome everybody back to College Readiness Wednesdays. So glad to have you here. So glad you're tuning in, or whether you're here in person. Um, just want to create that conversation with you all and, have you in on this dialogue about what college is really like. And I feel like we have such a spectacular special guest today because she is going to map all of that out for you, like step for step. It's going to be detailed. I suggest you take notes, do what you got to do, but just tune in and really take advantage of this session. All the way from Capital University, we have Miss Emily Ragland. She's the Director of Admissions. And she's going to give us, the scoop on first of all, this wonderful university. I don't know if y'all have seen it, the campus or know what it's about, but it's beautiful. And they're doing fantastic things. But she has joined us today to I guess just give us the inside scoop on the college admissions process and things of that nature. So I'm done talking. I'm gonna pass it off to Dr. Kristen Fox so she can, give you more details.
I don't think there's much more I can say, Clark. That was wonderful and a great way to introduce our guests today. So, Capital is right outside of the city of Columbus. Actually, I think probably surrounded by the city of Columbus on multiple sides. It's a great campus, and we're just really glad to be able to spotlight it today as part of our College Readiness Wednesday. So Emily Ragland has been the Director of Admissions and has been at Capital for about 4 years, but has spent time at a few different institutions in Central Ohio, as well as at I Know I Can, which we have talked about as a Lead the Way Learning Academy and College Readiness Wednesday group. A few different times. So as an expert in both college admissions and kind of college access and student readiness. So we are definitely in for a treat. And with that, I will thank Emily for joining us and turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. And hello, everyone. So excited to be able to connect even virtually and share a little bit about Capital. And as I go throughout this presentation, you will get quite a bit of information on who we are here at Capital and kind of the offerings that we can, the ways that we can support you as students throughout your college search process. And then of course, if you attend Capital, but you'll also get some information that will help you in your college search in general. So you are going to be able to learn a little bit about what to look for, what questions to ask, all of the fun stuff about visiting campus and anything that you would like to know. I am happy to take any questions that you might have throughout the presentation. So as mentioned, my name is Emily. I am the Director of Admission here at Capital. Fun fact, I'm also a Capital graduate. So very excited to be able to get to sit in this seat now that really gets to open up the doors for students like yourself to be able to come to Capital and be successful. Another fun fact that I also like to share, I'm married to a Capital graduate and also have 2 other Cap grads in my family. So to say the least, Capital family is true for me. And you're going to hear me mention that throughout this presentation a number of times. So welcome, and I'm excited. Yes. Okay, great. Sorry, thanks Clark for the chat. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move us forward and talk a little bit about who we are here at Capital. I really think this is something that you really wanna ask yourself as you begin your college search. There are a number of search criteria that are likely on your list. So for example, you want a large or a small school, or you may have, I want a school in a large city, or maybe I want an urban feel, or maybe I want a predominantly African-American campus, or whatever your search criteria may be. One of the other factors that you want to have on there is really just the general culture and feel of the campus. And so for us here at Capital, we do consider ourselves to be a family. Our phrase is Cap Fam or Cap Family. And as I mentioned, for me personally, that is true, but also even from my student experience and now working here, we would definitely be what you would consider a small campus. So a small campus could be, any campus that has 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 or so students. What that really means for you is, what are my classes going to be like? What size am I going to be in? Am I going to be in a large lecture hall? Am I going to be in a one-on-one learning environment? For us here, our average class size is about 20 to 25 people. So as you consider that, thinking about your high school or the class environment that you're in right now, the ability that you have to raise your hand and ask a question in real time, the ability that you have to connect with your teacher right there in the class or before or after the class. That's what we really strive to provide for our students. We're able to do that again because of our size. The other thing that you see here on the screen that is likely also something that might be on your college search list is, do I have to live on campus? When I do live on campus, where will I live? For us here at Capital, we of course are located right here in Central Ohio. And because all of you are also from Central Ohio, you would have the option to decide, do you want to live on campus or not? It would be your choice. Of course, when we get to scholarship information, there is definitely an additional cost that comes with living on campus. But for us, there are also additional scholarships that come when you live on campus. And those are things that you want to keep in mind and kind of weigh both options. I will also say that research does show students who live on campus are generally more engaged in the campus environment. And that then translates to students who live on campus, more engaged in the campus environment, will perform better. And that's our goal for you. Our goal is for you to be successful inside the classroom, as well as get all the experience that you need outside the classroom to go out and get the job that you want, and to go out and to get into the graduate program that you may want. So you will not have to live on campus. If you were from outside of Columbus, you would have to live on campus for 2 years. That's our requirement. The other thing that I mentioned that might be on your college search list is location. And this is always an interesting point when I talk with students and families who live here in Columbus. I am not from Central Ohio. And so when I moved to Central Ohio, I thought it was the best thing ever. And there are so many opportunities. There are so many fun things to do, so many places that I could work, just things that you can get involved in that are connected to your educational experience, but also to the social experience, right? That you want to have as you're in college. And being from Central Ohio and living here now, sometimes as high school students, you don't really realize all that there is to offer. And I can tell you, for our students, being here in Columbus, our location is the #1 asset. When you go to college and you get your degree and you finish and you were looking for a job, you're really competing with quite a few students, right? So we are one college in Central Ohio out of a handful, 5 or 6 schools right here in the city. What really sets you apart from the other students, from the other colleges and universities, is really the experience. And for us, being located in Central Ohio right here in Columbus allows us to get you the opportunity to set you apart with an internship, with research experience, with a job, if that's your choice. And we're able to do that because of everything Columbus has to offer. Now, we do provide our own research experiences right here on campus. So you would be able to have the opportunity to do that as well. But because we're here, we get students connected to some of the best organizations and companies to do their internship experience. And when you graduate and you have that on your resume and you have that experience behind you, that is really what sets you apart. In addition to your degree from Capital, it's the experience that you had while you're here. We are actually physically located in Bexley. We do have a law campus, which is actually downtown Columbus on Broad Street, but our main campus is right here in Bexley. It is very walker friendly, if that is a word. We have lots of families in the area that walk through campus, ride their bikes through campus. We have a beautiful center piece on campus, reflections, fountains. That's where most people will hang out. A lot of the restaurants and activities are within walking distance. And so I encourage you to consider coming to check us out. I encourage you to consider checking out any campus that you're looking at. Be sure that you get that campus visit in, and we'll talk about that. The other piece that I want to mention is when I think about looking for a college and what's going to be best for you and for your family, you really want to know what the values of that university, where they lie. And so you want to kind of do some research on the website, make sure that you visit and ask these questions. For us, I've listed here just a few of our values. And so you can see here, we want students to be ready. We want you to come here, and you don't have to know what you want to do, right? There are a lot of students who are not sure what they want to study, and that's okay. That's our job. That's why we exist. We want you to come, explore all the courses, explore all the offerings, and we'll help you decide what's going to be best for you and we'll set you up for the best success. We also want you to be you. At Capital, we say that we are a place for everyone. You will find the best student organization for you. You will find the best group of friends. You will find the best academic program. And that's part of what we consider to be the Capital family. We also want students to be able to come here and be healthy and well in their entire being. And so we are a Lutheran university. Our heritage is found within the Lutheran Church. We do have a seminary as part of Capital University. We do offer in our core curriculum, we call that program signature learning. So you may have heard the term general education or gen eds or core requirement. The best way that I can describe this is in high school, you have your major classes that you have to take for graduation. So think of those as English, your science, your math, your history, your social studies. Those are core classes that every student in the state of Ohio has to take to complete their graduation. Well, when you decide to come to a campus like Capital, a campus that is considered to be a liberal arts university, we will also require you to take a standard set of classes. The reason that we do that is because we believe that it will set you up for the best success. We recently had a study come back from some of our graduates and their employers on, why did you choose this Capital graduate to fulfill this role for your organization? And it definitely was a degree from Capital for sure. But outside of that, it was because they were prepared. And that is, again, from what I mentioned before, the fact that our students are involved, that they're living here, that they're engaged on the campus. They are able to gain so many qualities and leadership and experiences that really set them up for success and set them apart from the competition. And I've already mentioned being located here in the city of Columbus. So just a few facts about us. Our first year retention rate is right around 78%. And you may be wondering, well, what is retention? And how does that, what does that have to do with me? So we are here today because the leaders that are working with you think it's important that you have the information in your hand and your mind right in front of you so that you know how you can achieve success and getting into college and being successful. But getting in is not the end goal. And that's why we're here. We want you to be able to persist through and complete your college degree. And so retention just means we are keeping our students from year to year. There are a lot of things that happen, of course, in life in general, but as students are in college. But because of the support that we provide, that we'll talk about in just a second, our students are staying with us at Capital and going on and being successful. We have a significant portion of students who are considered first-generation students or students of color. Of course, me as a Capital graduate, I fit both of these. Neither of my parents attended university, and many of our students here now are in similar situations. But they are still able to find success because one of the things that we do is actually set every Capital student up with their own academic advisor. And that happens by your department. And that's a really cool thing because you are getting your direct information, your direct instruction, that direct connection with the professor who is in your program. And they're going to be working with you throughout the entire 4 years that you're here. I think that's a really important feature because you want to be sure that you have someone that's going to be your contact as you go through your 4 years at Capital or wherever you decide to go. So as you visit campuses, you'll want to ask that question as well. Will I have an academic advisor? Who will it be? How will I contact them? How can I meet with them? Those are all important questions. And I already mentioned again that our classes are pretty small. All right, so this is another piece that if it's not on your college search list, it certainly needs to be on your college search list to be sure that you are thinking about the program or the academic field that you want to go into. I do want to let you know there sometimes is pressure for you to know exactly what you want to do right now, and you don't have to. We want you to be able to come to university, whether Capital or wherever you go, and find the program that's going to be best for you. Now, I will say that there are some programs or careers that if you know that that's what you want to do, it may be in your benefit to go ahead and declare that program as your major. We have the word major listed here and minor listed here, and all that really means is this is what I'm studying. So for example, if I know that I want to be a teacher, my major at college, within college, is going to be education. If I know that I want to be a nurse, my major is going to be nursing. But what if I want to do something like what I'm doing? working in higher education or doing something, helping people that may not be teaching or going into the medical field. What am I supposed to major in? Well, that's where your academic advisor really comes into play and will help you decide what's going to be best for you. For example, I actually started out as a college student majoring in nursing. In my limited knowledge, I knew that I wanted to be someone that helped people, but because I wasn't able to see or didn't have the information to know what the options were, I had no idea what psychology was. I had no idea, what sociology was or criminology was. So I said I have to be a nurse because that's the best way that I can help someone. And that wasn't the case because I am not the best at science and math. And so I had to make a choice that was going to be best for me. But because I was at Capital, I knew my academic advisor really well. I knew my professors. They were able to guide me to select psychology as my major field, and be able to go into that program and excel in that program. And also because I loved it, I loved the French language, and I also wanted to study religion, I did those too. So I did 3 programs while I was here. That is another benefit of coming to a smaller campus. You can do multiple programs at the same time. If you have multiple interests, totally fine. We welcome that here at Capital, and I know other campuses welcome that too. It is sometimes easier to pair programs that may be similar. So for example, if I want to be a nurse and I want to work in an environment where I'm helping those that may be underserved, I may decide to study nursing, but I might also study Spanish because I want to be bilingual and be able to go into those communities. Those are things that we can help you with. And these are also things that you can ask on your campus visit. You can actually meet with the professor during your campus visit. If you would like to get a little bit more information, you actually can also sit in on a class with us. So these are things that you can do before you have to decide that you want to come to Capital. We want you to know exactly what you're getting and the experiences that you can have here. So the major options that we have, there are over 60. So you can choose literally anything that you want, and it's likely that we have a program here for you. A minor option is just something that you're interested in or something that complements your degree, that really, again, adds a little bit of expertise to your resume for when you finish and get your degree. The student to faculty ratio, this simply means for every 12 students, there is 1 faculty member. This is a pretty important number for us and for many other campuses because it tells you the small learning environment is real. You are definitely going to be able to interact in real time and get the support that you need within the classroom. I did mention previously a few of the programs that we have that we're really well known for would be nursing, as I mentioned. Education is another larger program for us. And then also the Conservatory of Music. So if any of you happen to be interested in being in the Conservatory of Music as a performance major or anything like that, those are actually 3 programs that we do generally encourage you to decide on early. We have specific admission requirements for both nursing and the Conservatory of Admission. And I'll give you both of those here shortly. Every other program we don't have specific requirements, but those 2. And generally any campus that has a Conservatory of Music or a nursing program is going to have something else, something extra that you have to present to be able to be admitted to those programs. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about engagement. I've been mentioning that word, and really what it means is getting involved. So I am assuming that you all are all very involved students, right? You are taking time and being here and being part of this program, and it is awesome. You may be involved in athletics. You may be involved with National Honor Society or anything like that. Maybe you work, anything like that. You can do those things when you get to college. That's the really cool thing. You don't have to stop playing your sport. You don't have to stop, singing in the choir. Those are things that you can do and continue when you get to Capital. Our students have the option to choose from over 90 student organizations, and those range. We, of course, have athletics, which I'll talk about, but we also have a number of music ensembles that you can join. They are audition-based. We have a number of sororities and fraternities that you can join. In fact, the 2 largest areas where students are involved are athletics and Greek life. So sororities and fraternities, those are our two largest areas where we have students and student involvement. We also have a number of students who decide to participate in research, which is the top right photo there that you see. We have a huge day every year where students get to present what they've been working on with their faculty members. We have a number of students who study abroad each year. So there is something for everyone. We have a number of faith-based organizations. We have a number of cultural-based organizations, a number of service organizations. So there's really something for each of you, in addition to possibly working on campus, if that's something that you would like to do. I wanted to just mention this briefly because I'm super proud of it, and it's not something that a lot of campuses have. Because of our heritage within the Lutheran Church and our commitment to serving our community, we have received this distinction. It's a national distinction for community engaged learning. So what that means is most of our students are going to have the opportunity as part of a class that they're taking to engage directly in the community and make a difference and make an impact. And so a lot of our courses will have projects or assignments that involve a community related problem or issue that you're working on with community members. And this is another important piece. If this is something that's important to you, especially if you're interested in things like social justice issues, being involved in the community, helping those who may be underrepresented. This is definitely an important thing that we are super proud of, our work here, and that we're excited to continue. And so you would be able to have a part of this if you do decide to come to Capitol. I just listed some of these here because I thought it was pretty important to know. I know that you all recognize some of these names and logos. These are some of the places that our students have interned. And I've mentioned internships before. Our students are employed after graduation. You see on the screen there that 95% are employed or in graduate school within 6 months after graduation. And as you sit through these presentations, you probably hear so many numbers and stats, and you're like, what does this mean? And why is this important? But this is an important one because you're not going to college just to go to college, right? You have to know your purpose and your why. And for me, it was, I want to go and get my degree. I want to have that degree and I want to go on and make a difference and be successful and do all these things. And I was able to do that because of what I was given here at Capitol and the opportunity to have an internship at a really great place while I was here as well. All right, athletics, just briefly, we definitely have Division III athletics for both men and women. Division III means we do not provide athletic scholarships. So if that's a question that you have, I'm happy to answer and kind of give you some info on how that works. There are some requirements for students who will be going on to Division I or Division II or even NAIA schools to compete at the collegiate level. For us, you still are competing at a high level, right? It's still a varsity sport. It is just that because of our university, size of our university, our conference, all of those things, we just cannot provide athletic scholarships. That does not mean that we are not providing you with other scholarships for your merit and other things that you might be bringing, but we just can't provide that piece. The other piece to know is maybe you love your sport, but you don't want to play at the varsity level. You can do intramurals. Intramurals are just fun, free leagues that you can participate in right here on campus. I participated in intramural basketball and loved it each year. And so you can do anything from soccer to volleyball to sand volleyball, any of those, and not have to compete at the varsity level. If this is something that's important to you, these are also questions that you can ask while you're on your campus visit with us or any other campus. And then also you can get this information by looking online or even chatting with the tour guide if you do set up a campus visit. All right, so I want to talk about admission because I know this is likely where we may have some questions, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. If you are viewing this as a senior, it's not too late. I know that there are a lot of deadlines out there that you may have seen that say May 1st, but I want to let you know that as long as you are communicating with the campuses that you're interested in, it's not too late. We want to work with you, especially here at Capitol. You just want to be in touch with us so that we can give you the best opportunity to be successful. If you're viewing this as a junior, you've got time, but now is definitely the time to begin making those lists, writing down your pros and cons, setting up those visits, creating your profile on the Common application. All of these are things that you should be doing at this time. For us here at Capitol, our application consists of a few pieces. So our application is online and completely free. We don't have a fee for you to apply with us at any point, whether you're applying for now as a senior or next year as a junior. We do participate in both the common application, and if you're not familiar with the common application, one application for hundreds of schools. Even on there, we still do not have a fee. So there may be some other campuses that you apply to and you have fees that you have there, or you can apply for a fee waiver. So definitely let me know if you have questions about those processes. So the Common App is one way that you can apply to Capital. I would say it is a little bit more in depth. It asks quite a few questions. There may also be a writing prompt that you would have to do as a part of the Common Application. If you would like to apply another way, you can. We have our own application on our website. Both are the same. Our application is a little bit shorter, a little bit less information. We don't prefer one over the other, so it's totally your choice. In addition to the application, we will require your transcript, and then you also can submit your ACT or your SAT score, or you can apply test optional. That is your choice. You will not be at a disadvantage if you apply test optional. You will still be eligible for the maximum amount of scholarship from us. So we're super happy to say that we have been test optional this year and hope to continue that for next year as well. I mentioned the conservatory and nursing. If you're interested in our music program, you do have to audition. So it is possible that you could be admitted to Capital, but not admitted to the conservatory because it will be based on your talent from the audition. And so the earlier that you apply, the sooner that you can do that audition piece and get that next step going. Nursing at this moment does require you to have a 3.0 GPA, and you also need to have a 21 or higher on the ACT. In addition to those two items, you have to have taken during your high school career Algebra 2, chemistry, and biology, and you have to have successfully passed those. What that means for us is that it's a C or higher. So these are likely similar guidelines that you might find at other campuses for these programs. Our priority deadline is December 1st. We are rolling, so that means that you could apply at any point. I would highly encourage you, if you are a junior, listening to this presentation today, I would encourage you to be sure that you apply by December 1st of your senior year. You will get the maximum amount of scholarship if you do that. All right, so a little bit about test optional. This is a question you certainly want to ask the colleges that you are looking at. What else is required? Is there anything else required? And will I be at a disadvantage for scholarships if I apply test optional? For us, for this year, we ask you to complete the admission application, and you can submit other information, but it is not required. So if you want to submit a resume, if you want to submit an essay for us to learn a little bit more about you, you can do that, but we're going to base your scholarships off of what we see on your transcript and primarily your GPA. A little bit about credit and bringing that with you. Some of you may be participating in College Credit Plus, or you may be participating in AP or IB courses. All of those will transfer with you here to Capital. This is something that I would encourage you to make the connection early with the campus that you're interested in attending. It can take a little while to get the credits, evaluate the credits, kind of give you an idea before you have to commit to coming here or anywhere else. So you want to get this process started as early as possible. But the good thing to know, generally with an AP exam, if you score 3 or higher, you generally will get elective credit. And then with college coursework, of course, if it's from another university that we are working with through our transferology pathways, then it is likely that that will come in either as elective credit or even directly for your program. So I can't stress enough, admission people are here for you. I am here for you. You can call or email literally any question. It does not matter. I recently got an email asking me, from a student who's trying to make their decision, what is different about Capital and the other school that the student was looking at. And so I was able to say, ABC, here's what we do at Capital, here's how we can help you be successful, and here's the data to show that. So I was really able to kind of give that student the information on what we actually do on a daily basis. So I want you to feel comfortable emailing, calling any campus. I want to give you a little bit of an idea of what you could receive as far as scholarships. Our middle 50% GPA is a 3.3 to a 3.8. That means that the majority of our students who apply in high school after their junior year have a cumulative GPA of a 3.3 to a 3.8. There are students below that, certainly students above that for sure. So you may be wondering, what's your minimum GPA? How will I know if I can even be accepted? Well, we generally start accepting students around 2.5. I would certainly encourage you to work as hard as you can to increase your GPA as much as you can. The GPA will directly affect how much scholarship you get, right? So our cost for 1 year for tuition, room, and board, so for you to attend your classes, live here, eat here, right? Tuition, room, and board, it's right around $51,000. And so even if you are admitted with a GPA of around 2.8, you will not be able to receive the highest scholarship, right? So I want to make capital affordable for you. So what I would want you to do in return for me and for us to help you is to work as hard as you can to get the best GPA that you possibly can. Our merit scholarships begin at $14,000. They go up from there. If you apply by December 1st, you could be eligible for full tuition. I recently had the pleasure of giving out 37 full tuition awards for this coming fall, and those were for students who applied by December 1st and were accepted. They interviewed as well as wrote an essay to compete for those awards, and you are eligible for those as well if you apply by December 1st and meet the criteria. The Good Guarantee is something that we do for students and families who have parents, or you yourself, if you work at a nonprofit, or any public good organization. So let's say you work at a hospital, or your parent works in a school, or they are a firefighter or something like that, then you're eligible automatically for half tuition. That's a pretty big discount for you. There are a number of other awards that we offer, but these would be the 3 largest offerings that we have. And again, you just apply and we give you the rest. Scholarship information is definitely something that I want you to be sure to ask when you visit different campuses. I won't go really into depth on this, but sometimes after high school, you may decide that you want to attend a community college. Right here in Columbus, we have Columbus State Community College. They're one of our largest partners. If you decide to do that and then to apply to Capital, you would be considered a transfer student. By doing this, there are a number of benefits. If you're interested in that, I would be happy to answer questions. But the most important thing to know right now is that we have a specific counselor on our staff who works with students who are planning to transfer. We have specific scholarships for students who transfer here from Columbus State. So it's definitely an option for you and a pathway to possibly speed up your 4 years or even lower the costs for your 4 years. So what happens after you apply? You apply to Capital, you get your decision, you then complete the FAFSA. I am not going to go into super detail on the FAFSA. I'm sure that you will likely have a session on financial aid as a whole. The best thing that I can say about the FAFSA is it is something that you certainly need to fill out. We are here to help you. There can sometimes be difficult questions or barriers to completing that. I can remember when I was preparing to go to college, completing the FAFSA for my family, having no idea what I was doing, but doing it. And so I want you to know that my staff, as well as the financial aid staff, are here to support you, to be sure that you can get that complete, that it's correct, and that we can then offer you a complete package. So when you get accepted to Capital, you get your admission decision, which is congratulations, you've been accepted to Capital. You also get a merit-based scholarship, those scholarships that I just talked about, based on what we saw on your GPA. I would say, that scholarship is definitely going to be a good scholarship, but it's not going to be your final picture. That comes after we get your FAFSA information. The FAFSA is basically a big calculator, and you put information in there, and then it tells you what you're eligible for. And sometimes students are eligible for grants. Sometimes they're eligible for loans. And so there's a lot that we can offer in that complete package from what we give, from what you may be able to receive from FAFSA. Typically, students would make their decision by May 1st. We have extended those deadlines for current seniors. So if you are still considering Capital, not too late for you. For current juniors, you will be applying starting this summer, early fall, and be on that December 1st application deadline. And then you'd be looking at next May as your deadline to make it official on where you would like to attend. So there's a number of steps. But I want to emphasize the visit pieces. So technically we're visiting together right now virtually, and that's awesome. And I think that's one thing that the pandemic has allowed for us to do is to get this information quickly, sufficiently in a virtual manner. But we are open on campus. We have a limited number of in-person visits every day, starting at 9 a.m. The best thing that you can do is take a campus tour. You're going to meet with a student one-on-one. They're going to walk you around campus. They're going to tell you all about their experience, and you're going to get the real information, right? I am telling you from my experience, and I've graduated years ago now, but also now from working here, but you want to know what's happening right now. So you want to come get the tour and meet with a current student. You also can set up a one-on-one virtual appointment, and we can set up an appointment with a professor. You can meet with a coach. You can meet with our tutoring services if you have questions, if you have any learning accommodations, if you need information about that, we can set up those appointments for you. Whether you decide that Capital is a place that you want to attend, I would still encourage you to visit because we are right here in town. You will get the experience of, walking around the college campus, hearing the information that we provide, and maybe you will, become interested in Capital. But even if you're not, you will get the experience of what is a college campus, what is it like? What should the tour be like? What kind of questions should I be asking? Every student who visits us gets to meet one-on-one with an admission counselor. So you had a customized appointment to kind of give you a lot of the information that I shared, but specific to what you're looking for in a college. So I encourage you to reach out to us so that we can get that set up for you. And also you can reach out to me if you have questions in general about college. Of course, I work here in admission, but my favorite part of my job is financial aid. So if you have questions about that, I am happy to answer those questions. But I hope that throughout this presentation that you were able to learn about Capital, but also learn a little bit more about what you can add to your own college search list, and kind of get a list together, questions together, and kind of a game plan on what you want to do, especially in the summer. It's a great time to begin this search and go on those visits. I do see a question, so let me look at the chat. Sorry. Okay, Lanaya, thank you. The question says, a little bit about classes. What were they like? In general, are there things that students don't like about the classes? What's the experience? Okay, so I would say college is college, and it is difficult, right? You're coming to get your degree, and so some courses are going to be a little bit more difficult than others. Depending on your strengths and also your interests, right? I can say for sure, right? If it was a class I loved, I felt like maybe it was a little bit easier and I, put a little bit more effort into that. But college is college, and there definitely will be a level of difficulty within the coursework. But on the flip side of that, the support is there. So we have free tutoring service for any course that we offer here on campus, unlimited. So you can go virtually or in person, you can do group sessions, you could do one-on-one. We also have something called supplemental instruction here for our most difficult courses. So for example, one of our most difficult courses after a research study that we did was the entry level of accounting, right? We found that there were a lot of students that were not doing well in that first level course. So what we did is took students who had passed it successfully in the past, put them in there essentially as peer advisors for the class. And so you have an extra layer of support within the classroom. So I would say the coursework can be difficult, but you have the support. I would also say the classes are pretty fun. We are hands-on kind of university. So you're not just going to sit right now, I'm sitting here and talking at you, and I am sorry about that, but you will not have that experience in your classes here. You're not just going to sit and listen. You will have the opportunity to participate in, if it's a lab course, you'll have the labs. You might have a lot of group work. You might have presentations. Specifically in the business school, for example, this is the best example I have. Because again, we're right here in Columbus, a number of businesses come into our classes with whatever their real life problems or issues are. And our students work on solving those in the classroom. So if I was studying marketing or public relations, I may actually in real time in my classes be working with an organization right here in Columbus. And so that's a great example of what it's like to not just sit and listen in the classroom, but to put the work to action. The other thing is the community engaged learning that I mentioned earlier. you will have many opportunities to participate in that through our service learning based courses. So I hope that helps a little bit on what the classes might be like. Is it easy to find a freshman advisor? For us, I would say yes, because it's assigned. You do not have to look. We will give you the person's name, email, phone number. You actually meet with your advisor before you start. So let's say if you're a senior right now, I don't know, Lanai, or if you're a junior, if you were planning to come to Capitol this fall, you would actually meet with your advisor during your summer orientation. So they would set up your schedule with you. They would walk you through, all the information that you need to know. And then you will meet with them at minimum, one time per semester moving forward. Now you could do more. I know I met with my advisor much more than that, but a minimum of one time per semester. And their primary goals are your academic success for sure, right? They want you to do well in the classroom, but they will definitely, if there are any issues or concerns that you have, be your kind of support line. There's another office that we have here that's called Student Success. And so I know it's confusing because academic success is the tutoring office, but student success is really the office where we essentially assign students coaches. So I serve as a coach for 3 students. And my task is to meet with those students once every 2 weeks, check in with them, see if they have anything that I can help with. Are their grades, are they performing well? Are they attending class? So there's a number of ways that we support students across campus. And I'm not a professor, I'm not an instructor. I work here in admissions, but I volunteered to be serving as a coach because I wanted to be involved in student success. So I would say yes, Lanaya, super easy. We will assign your advisor and they will be there to support you. Great questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Other questions that I can answer?
I don't have a question, just a comment. I did love your slide about visiting campus and just the significance that kind of holds, because like you can read about a college, like you can see the photos online, but there's nothing quite like stepping there, just being there physically and kind of experiencing all that it offers. So yes, that is a huge takeaway. And that's something that I did before I committed to a college. I went to visit just because I wanted to see what that school had to offer and if it felt like the right fit for me. Because once you get there, it's like you can feel it. It's like an energy in the air. You just, this is right for me. So I loved that piece, Emily.
Thank you, Clark. And it's you're so right. You can get a sense of what the culture is and what's the personality of the campus a little bit when you visit. And that's why I mentioned, even if, Capitol's not on your list, I would still encourage you to visit just because we are close, number one, right? You can set up a visit anytime, and also because you will get a conversation that is tailored to you to give you a little bit more pointers and information on creating that college list. So definitely try to visit us if you can. How much freedom do freshmen have in choosing courses? Great question. So I mentioned that there are some courses that are required. Our signature learning or core requirement program. Every student has approximately 12 classes over the 4 years. So you don't have to take them all within your first year. This is really dependent upon whether or not you know what you're planning on studying, right? So if I know that I want to go on to medical school and I'm going to study biology, then I kind of have a set list or plan of what I am planning to take. So I'm going to pull up a link while I share this with you because I think it might make sense. Give me 1 second. Let me show you. I think this will make it a little bit easier to understand. I'm going to share my screen again. All right, so should be seeing this screen. So let me show you, for example, if I want to study education, my choice, I'm going to select this education form. This just basically tells me a little bit about the program. But what I want to show you, I hope you can see this. Okay. This is a sample schedule of what an education student would take over their 4 years. So if I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to do early childhood. So I'm probably going to work in an elementary school. This is what I'm going to be taking over my 4 years. So as you can see, this student doesn't have as much freedom, right? And flexibility on what they can take because they have to finish this program, right? They know that they're going to be a teacher. They have to take these courses at a certain time because they then have to go out and do student teaching, as you can see here in the 3rd year and the 4th year, right? So that program doesn't have as much flexibility. But let's say you wanted to study, let's say sociology or criminology. This actually just shows me, it doesn't give me a 4-year, it just tells me what I have to take, right? So I could really choose, any of these courses. I could choose if I want to take them in spring or fall. I could choose, if I want to take them as a night class or if I want to take them at 8 a.m. on Monday morning. So Lanaya, you have the option of the time and days always, but you may not have the flexibility of what class when, depending on what you're studying and also when it's offered, right? Because every class may not be offered every term or even every year for that case. So I would say you have some freedom and flexibility, but not total. So your advisor will be the main contact to be sure that you are on schedule. Great question. I'm gonna just give you this link too, Lanaya, because if you go to any program on this list, it will give you the classes that are required for those programs. It also will give you, most of them, a 4-year outline of what you might take. So it's a really cool tool. You can compare, you can probably find something like this on most campuses' websites, and you can compare, nursing here versus nursing at another school, or psychology here compared to what's required at another school. So awesome, you want to be a teacher. I am so excited to hear that. Our teachers are the best people ever. So excited to hear that. Lanaya, are you familiar with something called Educators Rising? If that sounds familiar. If not, I would encourage you to look it up. I know there is a Central Ohio chapter for the organizations. It is for high schoolers who are interested in going into teaching. We have a chapter here on our campus for our college students, but it is a national organization. And our campus is really involved with the state organization. We actually host the conference every year. But if you want to be a teacher, I would encourage you to get involved. Yes, if your school was recently talking about it, check with your counselor, see how you can get involved. There is a lot of opportunity in that organization. Awesome. I would also say one other thing about education, since you mentioned that, I hope this makes sense now. When you graduate, you need to be a licensed teacher to get a job, right? So there are some campuses where you could go and major in education and not graduate with your license. And that is not the case here. You will graduate with your license in 4 years, right? As long as you are on track and you are being successful in the coursework. We generally will bring in the larger districts in Central Ohio to interview our students. And some of our students get jobs that way, during their last term here. So I definitely would encourage you, if you're thinking of education, I think Capital would definitely be a great fit. We start you out with observations as early as your first year. You actually are in the classroom your first year, your second year. You do your co-teaching your junior year, your full student teaching your senior year. So for 4 years, you are in a classroom with a teacher and getting that experience, which is a lot more than you may get at some other campuses. Great points. I'm so excited that you're interested in that. Excellent. Other questions that I can answer?
And Emily, if you don't mind, if you could put maybe some contact info in the chat for whoever is, interested in asking more questions or just learning more about Capital, they can reach out to you.
Absolutely.
And Lanaya said, not for me, they've been all answered. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you so much for kind of, being the plug to other resources for her while she's, a junior, but also just
Yes.
giving her the insight about capital as well. Thank you.
No problem. Nice to meet you, Lanaya.
Yeah, I'll just jump in to echo Emily. That was really informative and really helpful. And Lanaya, I thank you for such good questions. I know I've seen you previous weeks, and I just appreciate that you're always very thoughtful with your questions. So I have no doubt that any college is going to be lucky to have you as one of their students. And I know those who are watching afterwards probably also have some good questions. So, special shout out to Lanaya for asking them, because I'm sure other people have the same questions and are now getting those answered as well. But we will make sure to keep Emily's contact information for those who are watching this after the fact. So if you do have follow-ups, you can obviously reach out to anyone at Lead the Way or myself, and we can help connect you to Emily.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, if we do not have any further questions, I want to thank our guest again, Ms. Emily Ragland, for a very, you're just fantastic. You're a fantastic presenter. You're a great resource, and I hope whoever is watching this wants to utilize you and wants to just soak up your knowledge. So thank you so much for taking the time out. I know it's a busy time of the year, but thank you for, just coming to speak with us and being present and showing up and showing out. I want to thank Dr. Kirsten Fox again for, hooking this all up, but also just being a very gracious host and keeping College Readiness Wednesdays alive and popping. So thank you everyone that's on the call today. Be sure to tune in with us next week for another College Readiness Wednesdays, and we will see you then.